Okay, so in today's video I've got week 20 of my 365 days of art challenge, so if you want to see what I do this week then keep on watching. Okay, so the one that I started out with this week was just a pretty simple one of basically just adding my own like flowers or like petals or whatever onto these vines, but I kind of just copied on from the one that was done on the left hand side, and instead of creating like really detailed flowers and stuff like that, I just kind of did some like little star shapes and, you know, just sort of like an indication of flowers rather than putting like loads and loads of detail in, because I just didn't really think it was that necessary. And obviously the way that the vines look as well, I just thought that would look better. So I used my Zebra Fine liners for this one, and I just did, again, followed on from like what was already there and just did some like pinks and purples, and yeah, just kind of filled up the vines. Yeah, I think that one was pretty quick, pretty simple, but it was quite a fun one to do, and it looks really cute once it's all done. Obviously if you wanted to, you could add like loads of different styles of flowers and, you know, do whatever you want with it. As with all of these tasks, you have creative freedom to do whatever you want, but yeah, that's just what I chose to do with that one. Then the next one that I did was basically colouring in these pears, using different colours and different patterns and stuff. So I kind of stuck with mainly like yellows, greens and a little bit of red, similar to the three like ones at the top, like the example ones, but I mixed them together in different ways. I did little gradients like this as you're seeing now. I did more sort of like marbly effects. Yeah, I just basically used it to develop sort of like colour blending and stuff like that. Then the next one, which has already been and gone, was another calligraphy one. So that was just calligraphy numbers. You can't really tell fully like that I was actually trying to do the sort of like calligraphy bits, because the brush pen that I have isn't really like thick enough to be able to do that, as with a lot of my previous calligraphy ones. You kind of on some of them can't really tell that that's what it's supposed to be, but that is what it's supposed to be. So the next one was this one where basically I had to create like patterns in the squares, like patterns or a design. So again, I got the Zebra Fine liners out. As you know, if you've been watching this series, I absolutely love these liners. They don't bleed through on this paper, and I found that quite a lot of the pens do, or quite a lot of different pens do. So obviously with these ones not bleeding through, yeah, I use them quite a lot. But basically I just started out in the middle and I did some purple lines and some pink lines, going in opposite directions, and then I just sort of filled in the ones in the middle with like 5 black dots. And to be fair, I kind of had the intention to begin with of kind of like moving the different lines about a little bit, but I then sort of sat and thought about it, and I have kind of done that before. So instead I just decided to have sort of like 2 rows that sort of stagger, and do it that way instead of, you know, moving them around completely. And once I finished it, I kind of felt like it didn't really look that complete, so I then decided to go back in with the black liner that I'd used to do the dots, and basically just line the outlines of the squares, just to kind of give it a little bit more definition and make it look a little bit more complete. So yeah, instead of it just being a bunch of like patterns in the middle, I did that. Just kind of make it look a little bit more full and a little bit more finished, and yeah, I really liked it after that. So this one was, if I remember correctly, basically creating like an image with basically just pencils and watercolor. So I decided to do a little acorn. I have a little acorn Jellycat which I was looking at the time, so I decided to do that. So I just went in with brown watercolor for the middle bit and then just some green watercolor for the outside, and then I just basically lined it and did some detailing with some pencils. So yeah, obviously as you saw there, I did some detailing in there. I kind of didn't really know how dark to go with it. Like the green was pretty similar to the watercolor, and the brown line you couldn't really see at all, so I kind of went backwards and forwards with the idea of like lining it with black instead. But yeah, I like how it came out in the end. And the next one that I did was another colouring one, basically. So this one I actually did, I can't remember if I did it entirely in watercolour or just mainly in watercolour, but this time I kind of tried to keep the colours quite simple, and I kind of repeated the colours a little bit as well, just to kind of make the piece a little bit more cohesive and not make it look so random and like there's just loads and loads and loads of colours. So yeah, you can see that I did a lot of the leaves similar colour, and then just put some like darker shading in. The like tree bark and branches I did a similar colour, and then yeah, you can see here I got the zebra fine liners out again, to kind of colour in some of the smaller like actual flowers and leaves. So that's what I did with those, and yeah, I just coloured it basically. This one actually took me the most amount of time this week. I find that the colouring ones do actually tend to take quite a while. I don't really know why that is. I don't know whether it's just because obviously with the more details and stuff there's just more to actually do, or whether it's because it's like kind of like so simple I don't actually sit and fully concentrate on it. I'm not really too sure, but I like them nevertheless. But I do just have to kind of sit on a day where I am able to kind of set aside a little bit more time, because yeah, they do take a bit more time than what most others would. This probably took me kind of like double the amount of time any of the others did. So yeah, that is something to kind of bear in mind with these colouring ones. I always have to set aside a bunch of time to make sure that I can do it. But then at the same time, obviously with it only being colouring, you could just like go away and come back to it. But yeah, I like to kind of sit down and get them all done and then mark it off, and then I know that that particular day is done, and like basically my 7 days a week is done. Although the past couple of weeks I have been a bit rubbish at actually doing it. Obviously you probably would have seen by the fact that I haven't uploaded for, I think it'll probably be maybe a week and a half at this point, maybe even 2 weeks, I'm not sure. But yeah, I've been really busy. I was like away for 4 days and didn't have anything edited, and didn't really want to like spend a bunch of time sat in a hotel room editing. So yeah, unfortunately I've been away for a little while, but hopefully should be back now. I mean, I've said that so many times, but hopefully I should be back to doing like 2 videos a week. And I have got some ideas for Christmas. I'll probably do like a similar sort of like gift guide and like Christmas wrapping videos like I did last year. I have some sort of like DIY decorations that I want to do. So yeah, that's definitely something to stick around for. They should be pretty cool, hopefully. I have some like better wrapping ideas this year instead of just normal bows and stuff, so stick around for that because my presents are gonna look cool this year, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But yeah, so hopefully should be back to 2 videos a week, starting now, fingers crossed. We'll see when it comes around to Wednesday and see whether I've uploaded or not. Hopefully I have. I have got videos that I'm like in the process of editing. It's just the voiceover bits that take ages, and voiceovers just kind of are annoying. Like if I've got a video that's like ready to go, then I'd rather do that. But anyway, this last one was basically if I had any challenges that I found particularly challenging, and I just put like the longer ones and then just marked everything off as usual. So that was week 20 of my 365 days of art challenge. Let me know what your favourite was below and if you have any ideas for future. But yeah, make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and come back next week for the next video. Bye!